Hello guys, Zane here, and today I'm going to be talking about the problems with the 2016 election, and that could possibly even go into the 2020 elections. I am a Democrat. I am very blue. I'm a Green Party Democrat, actually, I should say, which I feel the Green Party has more democratic values than a Democrat does. But it's my opinion. I'm going to talk to you about the problem with the 2016 elections. The problem isn't that Trump won. No, I understand why he won, and I actually prefer the Electoral College. I don't really research the Electoral College that much, but I do believe that the free-for-all, winner-takes-all type of scenario is good. If there's a better system, we could use it, but I do appreciate the whoever the voters choose in that state, they get the electoral votes. That makes sense. You're putting the people's opinion first, but I don't know. It can be debated. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about elections then, back then, and now. Elections back then, you would vote for a candidate that held your morals, a candidate that you believed would benefit majority of Americans. That's not what the 2016 election was. It was damage control. Most people only voted for Hillary not because they agreed with her politically, not because they liked her, but because she would do the less damage if elected than the Republican candidate Donald Trump. Majority of the people did not like Hillary. A lot of Democrats do not like Hillary. Nobody really liked Hillary, but they liked that she wasn't as controversial as Trump, and so they voted for Hillary. This is the same thing we're seeing coming in the 2020 elections. We're not seeing people voting for morals. The vote blue no matter who is not what Democrats should be promoting. I understand the detrimental of Trump, and if he wins again, I understand what he can do. But I think a better approach is to expose the problems that will occur if Trump is elected again and not necessarily go against their morals just because you're a Democrat. The part I like about the Democratic Party is it's very diverse. There is a lot of different opinions for a lot of the same issues, and I do like that. Personally, as a Democrat, I find myself arguing more with Democrats than conservatives. And that's because, for one, I don't really talk to conservatives because most of the conservatives I know are very extreme, and I am not for authoritarianism. Sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not for complete control. And so, yeah, the 2020 election, we have this support Biden because Trump is worse stereotype. I support Biden not because he's a Democrat and is better than Trump. I do believe he's better than Trump, but because morally, I am more aligned with his politics. And mainly because most of the people I would have chose before Biden left. But I did look at Biden's political ideas, and I did support them more. I do like that they are still democratic ideas, but less restricting than democratic ideas. They're less extreme. They're like Obama. Obama was a liberal. He was a Democrat, but he was closer to the center because there's a center line, and then you got Republicans and Democrats. Democrats have been consistent in what they believe in. Republicans have been inconsistent, actually. If you want to look at the EPA, the Environmental Protections Act, was made by Ronald Reagan. The same thing Trump swears to destroy. You look at how Republicans back then talked about immigration to Trump, two different things. You talk about the taxing system compared to what Trump believes or what he's supporting. Because it is very easy to go up on stage and say, I support gays. That doesn't mean you support gays, though. I can easily craft this story of my political beliefs and pretend to be this awesome, diverse, woke leader and then be horrible. If you look at Trump's opinions on Medicare before he was elected, when he was a TV star, he said he was very liberal. Where's that liberalism now in healthcare? Where he said he was very liberal with healthcare, and all of a sudden he's not actually. He's actually been undermining our medical system. And so I think Republicans, in order to be a good party, need to get rid of Fox News. Fox News is not helping you. They're actually making the Republican Party sound stupid. Very stupid. Because not even Fox News holds conservative ideas, they just hold extremist ideas. Attacking immigration was not a thing in the Republican Party until Trump. Immigration wasn't even a problem until Trump made it a problem. Yes, there's bad guys. Yes, undocumented immigrants can be evil. They can be bad. But even Republicans understand that you cannot attack immigrants as a whole. Tell me why Republicans want to say, oh, just because a guy has a gun and kills someone doesn't mean the gun is bad. But all of a sudden, I like how I'm sounding like Sutton, all of a sudden, Californian slang right there. But all of a sudden want to say, when an immigrant kills somebody, oh, immigrants are bad. You have to have the same standards for everything. You have to be consistent. I mean, you have to be very consistent in your beliefs. You can't say immigrants are the problem and that they're criminals, but then say these guns are being victimized and being attacked and that they're not really the problem. I understand that a person kills a person, not a gun. But why are these guns available? The Second Amendment claims you have a right to bear arms. It does not specify what is protected, what is considered an arm, I guess. A gun. I'm gonna say gun. I'm gonna say a gun because bear arms. What is protected under that amendment? It doesn't specify, and that's the problem. The First Amendment, freedom of speech. I can't threaten somebody. I can't hate, bully. Well, I can disagree. I can hate. It's very frowned upon. But bullying, I can't do. Harassment, I can't do. Threatening, I can't do. And that's because rights have limitations. And the Republican Party needs to understand that just because it's a right doesn't mean it doesn't have limitations. And in order to have a successful country, or at least a first world country, there has to be rules, laws, and regulations on what is and isn't acceptable. So these are a few of the problems I have with the Republican Party. Of course, I do mean government, not voters. I do understand not all Republicans think the same, but they sure do vote the same, and that's even worse. If you're voting based off of party and not morals, that is very bad. And I feel like Republicans are doing it more than Democrats. Even though the vote blue no matter who thing makes me mad. Because I'm like, I'm not voting for Biden because he's a Democrat. I'm voting for Biden because politically and morally I agree with him and because he's way better than Trump. Not because he's a Democrat. He's not better than Trump because he's a Democrat. He's better than Trump because his beliefs are more of what we want to be as a country. Majority of Americans would agree more with the Democratic Party, which is why majority of Americans are a part of the Democratic Party. This is another thing that doesn't shock Republicans, which is kind of weird because if you think about it, since they're not afraid, then what is happening? If I were running for president and my morals did not match up with the majority of the American population, for one, why would I be running? Because I would lose. And two, why would I not be showing concern about that? That losing votes and losing strongholds in states should not just be something the Republican Party brushes off. In order for Republicans to win in a country that doesn't agree with them, they have to have an outside source. Personally, it makes more sense, and I do believe that there is some outside political help for the Republican Party, especially because most banks turned down Trump, turned down giving him loans because of his bankruptcies, his 7 or 11. I don't know how many, but he's had quite a few. And yet he still manages to get loans, but of course, most of those loans come from outside banks because America doesn't trust Trump with money. Doesn't trust Trump with anything, actually.